Yo, what's up? And welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be not playing VGC, but today we're going to be looking through some stuff from Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl comes out in just over a week, and we've actually gotten a bunch of leaks come out. People got their hands on the game, dumped the game, data mining all of everything. So yeah, now we know what mons are going to be in the game, what their movesets are. So that's what I'm here to talk about today. I'm going to be talking about what's going to be good, what to look out for, what mons do what things. So if you like this sort of content, make sure you like the video and subscribe. I normally do like battles and stuff in Sword and Shield. I'm a VGC player. I'm sure most of you already know that. I'm here to discuss the stuff in the leaks and show you what I think is going to be good. First off, we should probably clarify what was revealed in the leaks. So we know that all 493 Pokemon available in the Gen 4 games will be available in this game. From the looks of it, this format's probably going to be very similar to like VGC 2017 and VGC 2018 if you played those. It's got the same sort of feel as 2017 in the fact that stuff like Landorus doesn't exist and like Incineroar won't be existing, but at the same time you've got stuff like Cresselia and Heatran and all those like legendaries that aren't box legendaries or restricteds. But yeah, no, we've got a fair amount of mons here that we can discuss. Oh my god, it's him. Smeargle is back. This mon single-handedly does not want me to see any of the BDSP mons come into Sword and Shield. Smeargle is a menace, especially in doubles. It gets a signature move called Sketch, and what that allows it to do is it allows it to copy any move, so pretty much this Pokemon can learn any move, which means you chuck a Focus Sash on this fellow, you have access to Redirection, Fake Out, you have Spore for accurate sleep. Essentially, what this thing does is it makes you have to guess if it's going to go for Spore, Fake Out, or Follow Me. Majority of the time, if they're setting up for something, they're probably going to get set up for it. It's like almost impossible to set up. It's really impossible to counter this thing when it's trying to set up something. So like this plus Trick Room is really good, especially for like hard Trick Room and stuff. But yeah, it's really hard, especially if this thing has like Protect or like Spiky Shield as well, because it can always just protect if you try attacking it. Then on top of that, you also get stuff like Moody. What Moody does is it boosts a random stat by +2 and then takes away one stage of another stat. In previous gens, you could get a boost in evasion. The thing is, other than that, Smeargle can also get a speed boost. If you get a +2 speed boost, you're pretty much outspeeding most things, especially in this meta. And obviously you have Fake Out, so you can try fishing for Moody boosts. You can get a defense boost, you can get special defense boost. Getting a -1 in any attacking stat literally does not matter for this thing. So on top of having some of the best support in the game, it also has a literal RNG ability. Like, this thing can make or break an entire game just by getting like a speed boost or a defense boost. Now that I'm done ranting about Smeargle, obviously we've got Infernape, Glass Cannon, really good speed stat at base 108. Both its attacking stats are base 104, which is about average for attacking stats, but you get Fake Out support with this guy, you get Close Combat, Mach Punch, Flare Blitz is really good. Also, your hidden ability is Iron Fist. One thing I do want to mention is that this game does have ability patches. You can use an ability patch on this Infernape and then get an Iron Fist Infernape that allows us to get boosted Close Combats, boosted Mach Punches. Of course, we have Medicham. Medicham is another cool guy that's coming out. He is also a bit of a glass cannon, and like its speed isn't the greatest, but it's also got access to Fake Out, which is really good. Pure Power is a really busted ability. As you can see, max attack invested, it's 112, and double that is 124, which is actually, if you look at this Zacian here, is more than a Zacian at neutral with full investment. So that's actually a really strong, this is going to be a really strong guy. Medicham is nothing to scoff at. We also have Breloom. Breloom is another fighting type. It seems that a lot of the new good stuff is going to be fighting type. Stuff like Bullet Seed and Mark Punch work really well for Technician. There's no Psychic Terrain or any abilities that stop priority in this game, so you're probably going to see a lot of Quick Guard as well. No, Quick Guard is probably going to be the only priority protection in this game, because there is no Psychic Terrain, there's no Queely Majesty or like Dazzling, which is going to be insane because Mark Punch is going to do tons of damage with the base 130 attack, and it also gets access to Spore, which is really good. Next up, we've got Staraptor. It does get access to Intimidate, which is probably going to be its best ability. And with Staraptor comes the inclusion of probably one of the better sets for Staraptor is a Choice Scarf set with Brave Bird, Close Combat, Final Gambit, and U-Turn. This makes it really good for setup as well. Final Gambit is something that you saw a lot of in Gen 7 for setup. So what you would do, you would have max HP, max speed, and then have a little bit of investment in attack. You would have a Choice Scarf, you would Final Gambit something, and it would get rid of that specific Pokemon as long as it has a HP lower than Staraptor, it will be going down, and it allows you to set up really well. Stab Brave Bird from this guy is insane. Close Combat's also really good, and it's a good Intimidate option, especially with Incineroar and Landorus gone. This Intimidate mon is going to be super good. Another one of my favorites is going to be showing up as well. This is probably something I will build around. I don't think it will be that good, but I think it's going to be pretty funny. Scarf Typhlosion, Eruption, and Sun is probably going to be something you might look out for. It might be a meme team that I use, but no, this was definitely better in like 2018 when you had Charizard with you, and like 2015 as well with Mega Charizard Y. But now you have like some other Sun options for this. But yeah, no, this is a fun set that you might be able to look into. Next up, we have some cores and just like other mons that we already know of. Mons we've already seen in Sword and Shield that I think will serve to be really good. Obviously, Cresselia is a big thing. Cresselia is going to be super good. It's probably going to be one of the best Trick Room Pokemon in the game. Gets access to Levitate. You'll see probably Icy Wind or Ice Beam on this guy as well. This will be good. This will probably be the primary Garchomp counter as well. There you got Moonlight. You've got so much on this guy. Ally Switch. I don't think Ally Switch is in the game. Yeah, no, Cresselia is just insanely good this meta, and especially paired with Garchomp and Heatran. I think this is going to pair really well together, and Garchomp is going to be really good this format. And paired with Heatran as well, it's also going to be really good, because what you can do is this is very similar to Cresselia, Heatran, Landorus back in the day. So we got Garchomp, we got Cresselia, Heatran. Cresselia to swap in on Heatran with ground moves, fighting moves, anything that Heatran is weak to, Cresselia either resists or is immune to, except for water types. We've also got Garchomp, which is weak to ice. Cresselia will be able to tank that pretty well, and Heatran is quad resistant against that. Fairy types also don't like Heatran very much either, but it is also quad resisted. And then Cresselia is just really bulky, and there's really not much that counters Cresselia in this meta. It's like Tyranitar, Weavile, Gengar. There isn't really much that's going to be able to hit Cresselia for really big damage. But yeah, no, Cresselia is going to be super good, Garchomp is going to be super good, Heatran is going to be super good. I think this core is going to be very meta-defining. So next up, we actually have Regigigas Weezing. Now, Regigigas Weezing is very interesting because Weezing is insanely good this meta, because Weezing, neutralizing gas, is super valuable for stuff like for Rotom, for Intimidate. It's going to be really good for Cresselia as well, because they're not going to have Levitate and they're just going to be hitting themselves with the Earthquakes from the Garchomp. But yeah, no, I think Weezing is going to be pretty good, and paired with Regigigas, who also gets a Body Press, so Weezing isn't even like something you need to worry about too much. As long as you build enough defense in this Regigigas, you can Body Press stuff. You know, Regigigas is going to be a really hard hitter. You can run like Body Slam, you can run like Facade. There is no return in this game, unfortunately, but no, Regigigas Weezing is going to be pretty good. Obviously, we have the Rotoms. The Rotom's going to be pretty good. Like I said before, Weezing is going to be insane because of Rotom here, but having Levitate is going to be good. These guys are normally really nice in non-Dynamax formats. You know, you get like Hydro Pump, Thunderbolt. You can Will-O-Wisp stuff with this. This is going to be really good against Garchomp as well. Rotom Heat has a decent niche as well. But yeah, no, Rotom Wash is definitely the stronger of the two, but these two are going to be pretty insane. You know, we're going to be able to deal with Gyarados and Arcanine and a whole bunch of other stuff, so be on the lookout for these guys as well. Then we have our abilities. So we've got a bunch of abilities here. Obviously we've got the Intimidate Mons, we've got Arcanine, Gyarados, Hitmontop, Salamence, and Staraptor. These five right here are definitely going to be the premier Intimidate Mons for this meta. Arcanine, Gyarados were really good in 2017. Gyarados is going to be really decent because we don't have stuff like Tapu Koko or Regieleki coming being a bit of a threat. Arcanine is just like the other Intimidate Mon when Incineroar is not around. There's really no reason to run Arcanine when Incineroar is around. And when Incineroar means Arcanine's just going to replace it. Obviously this guy gets access to a bunch of moves, Flare Blitz, Snarl, you know, Roar for phasing, you can Helping Hand as well, it's really good. Hitmontop, Fake Out, Wide Guard, Close Combat. It gets Bullet Punch as well, it gets Sucker Punch, it gets Wide Guard. I'm fairly sure it gets Quick Guard as well. Yeah, it gets Quick Guard as well, which is really decent against other Fake Outs and whatnot. Now onto the weather setters. Obviously we've got Pelipper, we've got Politoed. These guys are going to be the premier like weather setters for rain. Obviously Kyogre exists, but generally speaking, when it comes to like the grassroots stuff, we probably won't see any of like the restricted mons coming around. But no, these guys are going to be pretty good. I think stuff like Kingdra Pelipper is going to be good. Kingdra Golduck might be decent as well. We saw a bunch of Double Duck in 2017. Even though only one of them is a duck, Pelipper is a pelican. Ludicolo even might be pretty decent. We might see a bunch of that. Politoed is going to be like the more bulkier sort of guy. He's going to be supporting. He's going to be hanging around. We also have Torkoal, you know, the premier sort of sun setter. This guy's really good in Trick Room. You can also have this guy just in general. This guy's good most of the time. You don't even need Trick Room. And it's especially really good against other Trick Room teams because, you know, you're going to be setting up. You're going to have a really slow guy there, and it's beating most of the Trick Room mons in general, so Torkoal is going to be really good. Ninetales is like the alternate sun setter. It's not as good, but it definitely has a niche in being faster. Obviously, there aren't really any other drought setters apart from Groudon. But yeah, no, these are the two you're going to be looking at. Tyranitar is probably going to be decent. Obviously gets pretty countered by Garchomp. I mean, this guy gets Ice Beam, so there might be a niche in running like a mixed T-Tar set. I remember that was a thing in the past. But T-Tar is going to be like the primary like Cresselia check, I reckon. You know, you're going to go for Crunches, you're going to go for D-Dance, you're going to do a bunch of other stuff, which is really good. Hippowdon, also a decent ground type for setting sand. One thing you'll see for sand is that you won't really have a sand abuser, you only have sand by itself. I think this will mostly be to just like have a weather control on like rain or sun. But yeah, no, T-Tar and Hippowdon not going to be too bad. I think T-Tar is going to be way more popular than Hippowdon, but you know, we'll see when that comes. Now we have weather abusers. So we're gonna see Golduck, Kingdra, Ludicolo, the primary like three guys you'll see on rain teams. I think Kingdra and Ludicolo will be more popular. Golduck was more an option in 2017 because Kingdra and Ludicolo weren't available. Kingdra is probably going to be the most popular one, but Ludicolo also has a niche in being able to use Fake Out as well, and it's got the grass coverage as well. For Sandrush, we have Sandslash. It's the only Sandrush mon in this game. I don't think it's going to be too great with an attacking stat like that and speed of 65. I don't think it's going to be too great. Obviously, it's a ground type. It's not going to be too bad, but I feel like stuff like Garchomp is probably just gonna outclass this guy, even with the Sand Rush ability. For Sun, we actually have a bunch of guys here. So we got Venusaur, Victory Bell, Vileplume, and Jumpluff. So Venusaur obviously is normally really good. Gets access to stuff like Leaf Storm, Energy Ball, Giga Drain. Gets Sleep Powder. It gets Sludge Bomb, which is really good. So Venusaur doesn't actually get access to Weather Ball anymore, nor does it get access to Earth Power. So this is going to be just the premier, like, grass, poison sort of guy. It's not going to be as good as it was in Sword and Shield, obviously. Not having that insane coverage that it used to have. But that's where Victory Bell comes in. Victory Bell has the niche of getting like the regular, Leaf Storm and Sludge Bomb sort of stuff. It gets Sleep Powder as well, but it also gets Weather Ball, and it's an egg move that it gets. So yeah, that's going to be the difference between running Venusaur and Victory Bell. You actually get Weather Ball with this guy, which means you get a pretty much stab fire move. It's not going to be in the sun, but like the sun will make it like it's stab. So yeah, Weather Ball is going to be pretty good on this guy. I'm going to see Vileplume here as well. Fairly sure Vileplume gets Dazzling Gleam, which is going to be pretty good. Yeah, it gets Dazzling Gleam. So it's going to be the only Chlorophyll mon that's Grass Poison, but also gets access to Fairy moves. This guy, again, Sleep Powder, Leaf Storm, gets access to Strength Sap, which is also really good. But yeah, Vileplume is another option. It's slower than everyone else, but it's also a little bit bulkier, so that's another guy you can check out. Jumpluff is probably going to be the best in terms of support for Chlorophyll. This guy gets Rage Powder. It gets, obviously you can use all the Grass Stab, gets Sleep Powder. Yeah, no, this guy gets Encore as well, so this is going to be decent for setting up Encores and whatnot as well. So, but for speed control, obviously we have the Tailwind setters. Now, because it's been confirmed, this game actually has dynamic speed. So it's up to date with all the mechanics of Sword and Shield. Murkrow is going to be the only Prankster Tailwind mon in this game. Obviously, Whimsicott and Tornadus are gone. So Murkrow with Prankster Tailwind, just going to be really good for setting up that speed control. Gets Tailwind, it gets access to Quash, it gets Taunt, Foul Play. Also gets access to Perish Song, which is a good thing. It even gets access to Feather Dance. It's a really good move for just like lowering damage output from physical attackers. Obviously we have Crobat. Crobat gets Inner Focus, so you can't fake it out. Tailwind, it's really quick with base 130. It's probably one of the faster ones in this metagame. Obviously this guy gets Taunt and Haze. I think Crobat will be decent at setting up Tailwind. Butterfree is good as well. This guy gets Sleep Powder and Rage Powder, as well as Tailwind, which is pretty decent as well. Aerodactyl, also a quick Tailwind setter. Suicune, really bulky Tailwind setter as well. We've seen that in Series 10. So Suicune's probably going to have a place in setting up Tailwind and being bulky and going for Scald and stuff. Pelipper is very similar. This will be good for their rain teams. We'll see. We'll generally see this guy going for Tailwind, just so it gets that extra bit of speed. Next up, we have the Trick Room setters. Obviously, we've spoken about Cresselia before. Cresselia is going to be insanely good. Going to be good against stuff like Garchomp and Salamence. With Ice Beam, you're going to be able to go for Psychics and stuff. You're going to be able to go for Moonlight. You're going to be able to go for Trick Room. Calm Mind even. This thing is just insanely good. Other ways, in terms of Trick Room stuff, you have access to Slowbro. With Regenerator is really good. Being able to switch this guy out after you set up Trick Room. Super good defensively. You can even run Oblivious on this guy so you can't get taunted, which is also really good. Same with Slowking. You could run a Regenerator or Oblivious. It's the same thing, but on the other side of the spectrum. It's going to be especially bulky. Those are two guys you probably have to look out for. Bronzong, Uxie, and Dusknoir are probably the other guys you'll see. Bronzong obviously has access to Levitate. You can also Gyro Ball stuff. This is good for switching in on like Ice type moves and stuff. Obviously the Steel type is pretty decent. Being able to set up Trick Room, being able to go for like Gyro Balls and whatnot, it's going to be pretty valuable. Uxie is pretty much a budget Cresselia. There are some things you can do with this guy. Obviously, it gets Imprisoned Trick Room, which is really good. You have Helping Hand. You've got a bunch of other stuff that Cresselia doesn't really have, but it's going to be a little bit weaker than Cresselia. And Dusknoir is just like going to be budget Dusclops. Obviously, there is an Eviolite in this game, so Dusclops and Porygon 2 aren't going to be really that great. So having Dusknoir here, which is already decently bulky and has a not bad attack stat, be able to set up its own Trick Room and do some stuff in Trick Room as well. Next, we have our redirection Pokemon. Obviously, we've discussed Butterfree and Jumpluff before, but also we have Parasect with Spore and Rage Powder. We have Venomoth, who gets Rage Powder with an Egg move, and Ariados, Carnivine, and Tangrowth. So Tangrowth is probably going to be one of the better guys for this, and same with Parasect and Butterfree and Jumpluff. They get access to a bunch of other options. Tangrowth is generally just like really good, probably going to be like the budget Amoonguss of this game. Because it's like already decently bulky, like except for its Spidef stat, going for like Rage Powders and stuff is just going to be super valuable, and then you're going to be able to switch it out. And then last but not least, we also have the Follow Me Mon. So this is other redirection. We have access to Clefairy. Unfortunately, we don't have access to Eviolite, so it's not going to be as good. But then we have access to Cleffa, who also gets access to Follow Me. We're gonna have Ferret, also gonna get access to Follow Me, and it's gonna have Frisk, was really valuable to see what items your opponent is running. Also gets access to stuff like Helping Hand. Pachirisu making a return. Obviously we've seen how good Pachirisu can be in the past, having access to Volt Absorb, being able to redirect, gonna be able to go for speed control with Nuzzle. Super Fang is super good. We've seen Pachirisu be good with Sajin Park in 2014, being able to win that World Championships with it, and you can run it super bulky and just have a good time using redirection Pachirisu. Obviously Togekiss is really good. Serene Grace with Air Slash is going to be super decent. Fairy types in general are just super good when it comes to Pokemon in general. So like a redirection is going to be good for this guy. Will Follow Me. You're going to have access to like Helping Hand. You're going to have access to Dazzling Gleam, Air Slash. So yeah, it's going to be super good. Also going to see Lucario. You can see what I put here is going to be very similar to the set with Staraptor, but the difference is Lucario also gets Follow Me, so you get the access of going for redirection or going for the final Gambit play you see with Staraptor, because the difference is Lucario actually gets Follow Me as a egg move this game. So running Max here is going to be super decent. Follow Me is going to be good for redirection. Final Gambit's going to be good for just removing a Pokemon off the board, which is really good. And then of course we have Smeagol, which we've already discussed at the very start. And then last but not least is just the items that we're going to be missing out on this game. No, there are no safety goggles, which is going to be a bit of a pain. Obviously Rage Powder existing and Spore existing is going to be super bad for safety goggles. Stuff like P2, Clefairy, Dusclops aren't going to be able to run an Eviolite, so these mons won't be as viable. You can still run them as Trick Room mons, but it's probably better off that you run their evolved form will not be existing. Weakness policy is in this game, so no self-activating weakness policy gimmicks. You'll find that a lot of these items were added in Gen 5. These guys being gone, it's going to be a little bit weird, but yeah, no weakness policy. And probably the worst of them all, there's not going to be any Assault Vest. So that means you're not going to be able to run Assault Vest on like Garchomp or even like AV on like a Mon that really needs its stuff like Tangrowth even likes an Assault Vest, even if it isn't running Rage Powder. AV on like Salamence and stuff. So there's not going to be Assault Vest, which is kind of sad, but it's just something I'm gonna have to be able to deal with. Yeah, overall, I think this meta is looking super nice. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of what this meta is looking like. I think there are a few things that are a bit disappointing. Obviously, stuff like these items being gone are going to be a little bit tough, and obviously, overall, I think it looks pretty good. I'm a big fan. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I normally do battle content on this channel, so if you're interested in subscribing for that, I'm going to be doing BDSP content when that comes out. I'm currently doing Sword and Shield stuff with VUC. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.